Open up any financial blog, and you will likely read that systematic investment plans, or SIPs, are the flawless, automated path to wealth. A SIP is a set of scheduling instructions for your bank to purchase mutual funds at regular intervals. The mutual fund is the actual asset. The SIP is the delivery method. Because it is a schedule, it carries the exact same risks as the underlying fund. It does not guarantee positive returns. You can lose money, and it applies to debt and gold funds as well as equities. The success of this schedule has very little to do with whether the stock market is currently high or low. It depends on your own cash flow and your patience. Setting up a rigid, recurring deduction without checking if your personal finances can support it causes many investors to break their plans early, which often locks in losses. Look at this HSBC investor profile graphic. In the top left, Uma has a strict short-term goal: buying a vehicle with a low monthly income. On the bottom right, Nisha and Aditya plan for their son's foreign university tuition, 18 years away. These households face different problems. When you account for the source of income, whether it's a predictable salary or irregular gig payments, the strategies must diverge. If Uma uses an equity-based SIP to save for a car over just 2 years, she directly exposes her immediate cash needs to severe market volatility right when she needs to spend it. SIPs demand predictability. If your incoming cash fluctuates or your timeline is tight, a rigid monthly deduction becomes a financial liability. Here is how the mechanics operate. Every month, a fixed amount of cash leaves your account on the exact same date. The system ignores the news and the price. This blind consistency creates a mathematical outcome called rupee cost averaging. This graph plots a market moving in erratic waves. Those dots on the timeline represent your automated fixed-date SIP purchases. At the market peaks, your fixed investment amount naturally buys fewer mutual fund units because the price is expensive. But in the valleys, that exact same recurring deduction buys a significantly higher number of units because the price has crashed. There is a mathematical trade-off. In a market that only moves upward, a one-time lump sum investment beats a SIP because the SIP leaves cash sitting on the sidelines for months. Investors sacrifice some potential return in a perfect bull market to gain risk mitigation and emotional stability when the market drops. That math only holds up if the monthly commitment never breaks. For salaried employees, this rigidity is effective. It enforces saving discipline and removes the need for monthly willpower by routing the money away automatically. But look at the contrast for business owners and freelancers. Overlaying a fixed deduction onto an erratic income stream creates immediate stress when earnings step. When cash gets tight or the market takes a sharp dive, the most common reaction is to log in and manually pause the SIP. Stopping your investments precisely when unit prices are lowest permanently handicaps your wealth. You miss out on the cheap assets that drive long-term gains. The automated schedule is the SIP's strongest feature. The moment you run out of cash and pause the system, that strength turns against you. This brings us to the second requirement: time. A short-term goal requires the cash in under 3 years. A long-term goal spans a decade. If you set up an equity SIP to pay for a wedding 2 years away and the market drops sharply in month 20, your timeline has run out. You do not have the runway to let the market recover. You are forced to sell your units at a loss just to pay your bills. For those immediate deadlines, bypass equities. You need stable instruments like fixed deposits or liquid funds. Building wealth through an equity SIP requires the luxury of time, so compounding can work undisturbed. If you cannot wait, you should not set up the plan. To figure out your exact strategy, we need to map your personal situation. This quadrant chart plots the variables that dictate your choice: goal timeline and income predictability. Any goal under 3 years is in the danger zone. Regardless of income, avoid equity SIPs here. If you earn a steady salary and your goal is 5 years out, you are the ideal match. A standard SIP is built for this. If you have a long-term goal but an irregular income, use the optimizer's pivot. Choose flexible SIPs or make manual lump sum investments during high-earning months. A systematic investment plan is a behavioral hack designed to enforce discipline. It deeply rewards the investor who automates their payments and ignores the noise. It punishes those who try to micromanage through market storms. Success comes from precisely matching a mathematical method to the specific constraints of your personal life.